Yeah, obviously, first thing I want to say is that that's a heck of a football team that we played tonight. I can't say enough good things about Coach Freeman and his staff and their players. Thought the quarterback, Sam Hartman, played extremely well. I don't know if he missed a whole lot tonight. Disappointed. It's not what we hoped for, what we expected. It was a good football team, and we didn't think it would take a miracle to win the game, but we knew we had to be at our best, and I don't think we were. Thought we did some decent things offensively. Thought we moved the ball. We couldn't sustain some drives. Missed a field goal there in the first half. Missed on some shots. We knew we were going to have to take some shots, and we had them a couple of times, and they were open. Didn't hit them. You have to hit those in a big game like this. The disappointing thing on defense, in the opening drive with third and long twice, you don't get off the field. Maybe that's a different start to the game if we can get off the field there. I don't know, but thought our tackling was as bad as it's been in a long time. Something we got to obviously go back and go to work on. I thought our kids played hard. I never questioned that, but we got to go back to work when we get back, and we got to get better, and we will. And this game won't define our season. I don't feel any different about our football team right now than I did before the game. I really don't. Interested to go back and watch the film, but we do some good things, and then we shoot ourselves in the foot, the missed assignment or a missed tackle or something like that. And so, just disappointed. I'm still proud of our football team, and again, just hats off to Notre Dame, their players and their staff.
Questions? Wow.
Coach, you mentioned the giving up the 2 third down long plays, but on the other side, on your first offensive possession, you went for it on 4th down. Ty had 2 guys open, but unfortunately they were right on top of each other and battled each other for the ball. Is that frustrating? Because if you connect there, that's a real momentum builder in the red zone.
No question. It felt like we just didn't get any momentum early in the game, and we had a bust on a route there. That's why we saw 2 receivers close together. We run the right route. We may hit that, and it's a huge play for us. But we've been good against the run around here for a long time, and we were poor on first down. They were able to stay on track. When they're able to stay on track, it makes it hard to make a really good call. They had a good plan. Like I said, the coaches did a great job. They had a plan for our pressures and our zeros, and the plan was to show some stuff, to see what they were going to do, let them show their hand a little bit, and it didn't work out quite like we wanted it to. But yeah, that was kind of the way the day went, Bill. To answer your question, we run the route right, we run it correctly there, and that's probably wide open, and then you're off the races a little bit right there. But we couldn't get any momentum, it felt like, during the game, and that was kind of the story of the day.
Questions?
Coach, you mentioned momentum building at the end of the first half. Any thoughts on why that maybe didn't carry over in the second half?
The momentum we had there at the end of the first half?
Yes, sir.
No, at halftime, obviously, it's 28-0 at halftime, right? So your main focus is just to go in there and make the adjustments that you need to make, and just say, at that point, let's go win the third quarter. I don't care what the score is. Let's go battle and win the third quarter and see where we're at. And it was more of the same, in the third quarter there. I felt like we were able to move the ball a little bit offensively. Didn't have a lot of possessions. I think we had 3 possessions, in the first half. They controlled the football. We couldn't get off the field on defense, and so it makes it hard to get any kind of rhythm offensively when that happens. And yeah, tough day on both sides of the ball. They just beat us. That's the bottom line. We just got our tails beat today.
Flags.
Coach, you had talked about playing 2 quarterbacks, but you decided to start Ty and stick with him the whole way.
Yep.
Why was that?
Yeah, I think it's just based on, really the last 2 weeks of practice and where we thought Ty was. And, we thought like if Ty wasn't playing well and we needed to change, we'd roll with another quarterback. But I think Ty played well. He made good decisions. He put us in the right place for the most part. And we just decided to roll with him.
How much did you think Hartman made a difference in how Notre Dame handled your zero pressures, and then also I think his 3rd touchdown pass where he's rolling left, there's a defender right there, he sort of sidesteps him and how difficult is that to sort of deal with defensively?
Yeah. Well, he's a really good player, and we knew that going in. And he's a smart player. He sees the field really, really well. He was able to ID things that we were doing really well and put the ball in the right places when he did. The play you're talking about, we missed him in the backfield and had a guy come out of coverage and had a bust there. But no, he's a really good player, and we knew that going in. And he's like a coach out on the field, and he ran the offense well. He was super efficient, And the thing they were able to do was a little disappointing to me is they were able to run the ball. They controlled the line of scrimmage. Their offensive line was really good today, and they controlled the line of scrimmage. The running backs ran hard. We didn't tackle well, and that's a bad combination. And when they did throw it, they were deadly efficient.
Coach said that about controlling the line of scrimmage. Obviously, the next thing defense did was go and control the line of scrimmage as well. Just some thoughts on that.
Yeah, they did, and we got some positive yards. We knew going into the game they weren't going to be 10, 12, 15 play chunks. A lot of those we knew we were going to have to grind it out. I think in the second half there was one drive that was about 14 plays, and I knew that was the kind of game it was going to be. But like I said earlier, we kind of shot ourselves in the foot, and we'd get something going and get behind the sticks a little bit on offense, and just couldn't recover from it. But yeah, I thought they're a good football team. They're a veteran team on defense, and they see the option every year and know how to defend it well, and they had a good plan.
Hey, Coach. I wanted to ask you a few questions, or a question or two about, this being your first game as head coach, and you talked a little in the offseason about how, you set up your staff and there were some changes to where people were and where they were coaching and whatnot. I want to see how you felt like that division went, how the other coaching roles fit, and how your first time at the helm managing everything felt.
Yeah, I mean, it felt good. It felt natural. Didn't feel out of place doing it. Certainly not what I hoped. For my first game as the head coach, but no, I'm really pleased with our staff, and I don't feel any different about our team right now. I don't feel any different about our staff either. We got really good coaches, and I thought we had a good plan. But at the end of the day, you got to go out and execute it. And when you're playing a team like Notre Dame, then you got to be dang near perfect. When you're doing that.
Any other questions?
Coach Chesnut had also talked about incorporating the quick passing game. We didn't see a lot of that tonight. Was that just because the play sequence didn't work out that you could get to it, or?
Yeah, I think so, kind of. And I think really, Bill, we were kind of staying on track. We were moving the ball decent, and if you go back and look at it in retrospect, maybe we should have done a little bit more of that. We didn't throw the ball much, but we didn't run a lot of plays either. I think, at one point for that long drive, I think we had 40 plays on offense, and I'm not sure how many possessions we had, maybe 7 or 8. So it wasn't a lot. And, there in the second half, I wanted to run our offense a little bit, when the game was kind of out of hand there, and see if we could put a drive together like we did on the one long drive. And but yeah, we have to have the ability to do that. But I didn't think we were getting stuffed. I thought we were moving the ball a little bit, despite the yardage and the score. But just couldn't sustain some drives when we needed to. Couldn't hit the big plays when we needed to.
Tom, why don't you just talk about the offense and frustration as far as not being it? I mean, you move the ball here and there, but couldn't really finish drives, and that's how you end up without a touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's frustrating as an offense. You want to put points on the board. You want to score. They have a good defense, but I feel like we were moving the ball. Obviously, the finishing part we got to work on, but I feel like as an overall offense, we were moving the ball down the field. There was little hiccups here and there. We kind of shot ourselves in the foot. I made a bad read or made a bad pitch, whatever it may have been. So we got to clean that up. But I mean, I'm happy with where we at. Obviously, the score didn't show what we wanted for it to be, but I feel like we were moving the ball and executing the offense the way that we kind of hoped that we would.
Questions? Last.
Jacob, Coach Newberry just expressed frustration. He thought that was the worst tackling effort in quite some time that he's been here. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, again, Notre Dame's a great team. They're going to break tackles. But, I mean, he's not wrong. There's no sugarcoating it. That was definitely the worst tackling I've seen out of our defense, out of myself. We were just talking about pulling the thumb in the locker room, just talking about what we can do better. I think every single player on our defense would agree that, you know, their tackling was not up to standard. Something we're going to work on this week for sure. 2 weeks from now before Wagner, and that'll get fixed. That's something we can fix. You know, tackling, it's just got to practice more reps. You know, you can't fix effort. You know, attitude, stuff like that. But tackling we can fix.
Jacob, there were a few times that you guys had penetration on Hartman in the backfield. He was able to dance around and make something happen. But what's the cumulative effect when you get some pressure like that and you can't close it and then they make a big play?
Obviously, it's frustrating. You know, it's a game of inches, and on the defensive side, to be so close to a sack or, you know, a couple steps away from, you know, maybe affecting his throw a little bit more. I know I had one. I got through up the middle. Tripped a little bit, ended up on his legs. That was the play he threw a touchdown on. It's frustrating to be right there and, you know, for the exact opposite to happen, obviously, them scoring. But again, that's just something we need to work on. That's a timing thing. That's a blitz thing. That's something we can improve as a defense. So that's another thing we're going to focus on when we go back to work on Monday.
And then following up, with your coach referenced a few times their ability to kind of dictate everything with their running game and give credit to the offensive line. How would you describe that Notre Dame offensive line? Was it much different than what you'd seen on tape, or were they just more physical?
It wasn't different. I kind of expected that. You know, both their tackles were returning. I'm an edge player. I played against 54. You know, Joe Alt. I played against those guys before, so I kind of knew what to expect. But it was frustrating, especially last year, holding them under 100 yards rushing, and then this year, I mean, I'm looking at it. Looks like 191, I think, if that's the right column. But yeah, it's definitely frustrating. It's not what we wanted. But again, I mean, they do have a great offensive line. You know, they got a great running back. They got a great offense. But definitely not our standard.
Any other questions for the players?
Larry, tough game in the trenches tonight, just some thoughts on that, and then also coming back to Europe, thoughts on just returning back to Europe and your experience this week.
Yeah, definitely tough. Notre Dame's probably one of the better teams that we'll see this year, and they had a lot of guys come back this year. Like you said, it was a very tough game. All credit to them, but it's just something we can learn from and just kind of learn from it and carry on to the future games.
And just thoughts on returning to Europe for yourself, obviously your journey from Europe to the Navy and then back.
Yeah, definitely felt awesome to be back home. Saw some of my family that attended here from Europe, so it was awesome. But yeah, it was cool to be back.
Any other questions for the players?
Just, I know this is a little bit different to talk about, but go back to before the game started, before kickoff, the environment, you hear the national anthem, you know, here in Dublin, so you're about to play, you hear the whole crowd. What was that like prior to the game and all of the crowd stuff and everything?
I think it was awesome. You know, we've had the opportunity to play in a lot of big environments. This was definitely a sweet one. The fans made it a really fun environment to be a part of, and it was awesome.
Any other questions, Wags?
Ty, I mean, can you talk about how far you've come from suffering a knee injury late in last season, and being able to come all the way back and start this game and go the distance? You know, played fairly well as best you could, but I mean, the fact that you were able to regain your starting job, that you basically started from the bottom and had to climb back up that chart.
Yeah, I mean, obviously going through an injury like that, where you have to get surgery is devastating to your mental and physical, obviously. It's definitely a mental battle to get back, but I mean, kind of just diving into the playbook, the offense, having to learn it, it was something that I feel like I took head on, and definitely the competition with the other quarterbacks in the room definitely helped build me to be able to come back and be able to get to the spot I am. I think it's definitely a confidence builder being able to come and play against a team like that and play the whole game. Kind of definitely regains the trust in my knee, regains the trust in my ability to go play. I mean, it was awesome to be able to come and play in an arena and a place like this. Obviously, never been out of the country like that, so being in this atmosphere was something really cool to be a part of. And being able to play outside with my brothers again, obviously missed the last 4 games, was something that you know, you kind of take for granted until it's gone, and being back out there with them was something that you miss a lot when you don't have it. So
you somewhat referenced this in your first response, but there were some signs today. You got some movement up front. fullbacks both had some nice runs. Brandon Patton had some nice runs. Just, Coach mentioned didn't have a whole lot of plays overall, but do you sense, despite what happened tonight, that their offense has the ability to improve?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think obviously like the score, you don't see what we were doing with the score. You want to score more, obviously, but what we were doing up front with the line, with the A-backs, the T-backs, wideouts, I think, if we just don't shoot ourselves in the foot in a couple plays, if we do a little tweaks here and there, it would have been rolling a lot better. But I think for the most part, we executed the way we wanted to. Like I said, just mistakes here and there kind of shot ourselves in the foot, and we weren't able to finish drives. But I'm really excited to see how we come and learn from this following weeks.